Good morning, everybody. It's the 21st of October. We're Signal Centre talking ball. I'm Joe, joined by Taff and Steve this morning. How you doing, gents?
Yeah, not bad. It feels like a bit like
Good.
Deja Vu Friday.
I knew you were going to say that.
For anyone who
sorry
doesn't
about
know, Joe's been sort of like talking for about 2 minutes, thinking he was presenting, and I looked up in the top right-hand corner and it said, click this button when you want to go live.
Wasn't live.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, we're live now.
Yeah, we are
So,
now.
Yeah.
Welcome,
Maybe
everybody.
you won't mess up the headlines this time.
I'll try not to. Okay. So will be the second time I go through this, but all relevant stuff, hopefully. Latest headlines over the last 24 hours impacting markets. So first up, we had the US Philly Fed, which stayed in negative territory yesterday. The index did edge higher to minus 8.7 for October from a previous reading of minus 9.9, which was weaker than the consensus forecasts. And 4 of the last 5 readings have been in contraction territory. US yields continue to increase. Although the US data yesterday was mixed, there was sharp selling in US Treasuries, with the 10-year yield increasing above 4.15% amid expectations that the Federal Reserve would have to be more aggressive in tightening monetary policy. We've had some mixed messages out of Japan. The finance minister stated that currency speculators would be dealt with strictly, but the Bank of Japan again increased more aggressively in the bond markets to try and cap yields. Dollar yen broke 150 yesterday. The dollar maintained overall a strong tone, especially with US yields being higher, and dollar yen posted fresh 32-year highs at around 150.40. On the UK side of things, obviously another tumultuous day. The UK Prime Minister Liz Truss resigned just after the New York Open. She announced that she'd be resigning as the Conservative Party leader, and it was impossible to carry out her economic policies. The aim is to have a new leader installed within a week, and potentially on Monday, if there is only one candidate who secures a high nomination bar of 100 from MPs. Looking at that this morning, you wouldn't believe who's leading. It's actually Boris Johnson. He's got 52 votes at the moment. So those will recall his last speech in the House of Commons. He said, "Hasta la vista, baby." That obviously famous line from the Terminator, suggesting that he'll be back, and that indeed could be the case once again, which would be utter madness. But we'll see. I think second in the polls or the voting is Rishi Sunak, then followed by Penny Mordaunt. In terms of what's going on with the Bank of England, the Bank of England Deputy Governor yesterday stated there is clear justification for tighter monetary policy. He did, however, express serious doubts over the extent of market pricing, and it remains to be seen whether interest rates have to rise as much as priced in. He also warned that markets pricing in would imply a pretty material hit to demand, and GDP could decline 5%. Following the comments, there was a further shift in market pricing, with only an 85% chance of a 75 basis point rate hike compared to the 100% basis point hike seen last week. Data this morning, we had UK retail sales. They slid 1.4% for September compared with expectations of 0.5% decline after a 1.7% decline in the previous month. The latest consumer confidence data was slightly better than expected, with a recovery from record lows. So plenty going on. Let's get into some charts. Taff, do you want to start with Bitcoin and commodities?
Yes. Let me start with today. I'll start with oil.
Okay.
Just share my screen. Yeah, there we go. All right. So I'm going to look at oil. This is on the daily charts. Just briefly look at what happened yesterday. The day before, on Wednesday, we had this good bullish candle, and this was an indication that probably the bulls are in, and they'll probably take price higher. And yesterday, the candle pretty much closed in the area where it opened. But interestingly enough, the bulls did take price to that resistance that I highlighted there, that 87.14 zone. But they just couldn't hold it there, and then they were rejected. So we saw price come down. Let's see what that looks like on the intraday. On intraday, yeah. So price did come all the way up to the 87.14 resistance. I'd highlighted this yesterday. This would have been a good trade for someone on rejection of this. So price came up and then it was rejected, and then we seem to be going down now. We've got this was support, but then now it turns into resistance. and we tested it a bit here. We broke out and tested it here, and then we seem to be rejecting from that level. So it looks pretty bearish on crude oil. I'll be looking for probably some sort of resistance here from the bulls on the first support at 83.29. If this is overcome, then we're looking to drop all the way down to 81.42. So the picture is pretty bearish for oil, and I think selling rallies would make ideal trades. Let's go to gold. I think gold is pretty much in the zone that I had highlighted several days ago. We're still in that bearish channel. If we look here, we're still in that bearish channel. So really, it's the outlook is bearish. But as to what happened yesterday, again we had again the candle closed pretty much in the same area where it opened, although it was slightly lower. But price came up, it tested this this resistance level here that I had highlighted earlier on, and then from there it couldn't hold. The bears just came pounding on it, and it went all the way down on an intraday level. It's this is what it looks like. Uh, price came all the way up here to that first resistance. I talked about this yesterday, and I said this is a good place to put your shorts. So really, these levels are your money spots. Really, I said that this is a good level to put your shorts. Price came up, it couldn't overcome that, and then we see the bearish engulfing here, showing that the bears are in it and they're willing to take price further down. We're currently in this support zone here. This is 1615 to 1621. I would assume that you would have a bit of resistance from the bulls here. They'll try probably to just push price up a bit, but I think the overall picture is going for to be shorting any rallies. I think you might have a rally here from here, but I don't think it will overcome this first resistance. I think we'll probably come somewhere in between in between these two levels here, probably around 1631, somewhere there, if there's a rally, but it will not hold. The overall picture is going down, and I see us breaking this first support, going to the second support, which is 1600. So any rallies should be sold on gold. Let's go to natural gas. Natural gas is pretty much it looks really red since we broke the trend line. Since we broke this medium-term trend line here, price has not looked back. It's just been going down. It's just, I think we're now on the fourth red candle. Yeah, we've had four red candles, consecutive red candles. Yesterday, I was looking for price to come up to the 6,000 level and get some liquidity there. It did not reach that far, showing that the bears really have conviction. um, this is what it looks like on an intraday level. So yesterday price did come up, but then it didn't reach that level that I wanted for shorts, and we're still in this bearish channel. Price just went up a bit and then it was rejected by the bears, and we seem to be going further down today. My point of interest really is this first support zone here on an intraday basis, this 5.4 and this I would say 5049 zone. This is really my point of interest for today. I would want to see some sort of rejection, some sort of rejection from the bulls. I want to see the bulls come and reject this zone. And for an intraday trade, I think it could make a good trade in a way, although it'll be quite risky because you're still in a bearish channel, and the overall trend is still pretty much bearish. But on an intraday basis, I think you could probably scalp a few. Risky, but you probably could scalp a few. So this is the zone to look at here, 5.40 to 5.49. This is the zone to look at today. Let's go to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is also another one that's in bearish territory in my view. All right. Here we go. So on Bitcoin, I think the level to watch out for today is this 19029 level. This is the level I talked about this yesterday. Price came down. We just couldn't close below this level here. On Tuesday, we tested it again. On Wednesday, we couldn't close with this long week here. Ultimately, we closed above it, and on Saturday it happened again. So several times this level has been tested, and price doesn't seem to it doesn't seem to have enough momentum to close below that level. What does that look like on an intraday level? I'm just going to remove this trend line. I want us to just look at something here. So if you really look at this from where this trend line is starting, we tested it there and here. We came all the way down. We came up. We tested it again at this point. We came down here. We didn't really go further than this, and then we came up. We tested it here, and then we came down, and then now if you notice, we didn't go all the way to the top of the trend line. To me, that signifies that really the bulls are really in control here. We keep having further lower lows, so the bulls are in control, and I'm anticipating a break of this support level here. I think a good break would probably lead us all the way down. My ultimate target for Bitcoin is 18,200. So I think we're already breaking here on the 2 hour, but I think if we have a convincing break of this, probably on retest, we can take shorts and target ultimately the 18,200. So yeah, so for Bitcoin, that's my view. If you look at it, this looks like a descending triangle formation. So on break and on good momentum, we will probably it'll be a good trade for breakout traders, and with the ultimate target again being the 18,200. So I'm bearish Bitcoin and looking for a breakout of that zone. Over to you, Steve. Joe.
Nicely done, Taf. Steve, do you want to take indices or should we do FX next?
Well, I'm interested on the dollar. So should we do FX?
Yeah, okay. So dollar maintaining its strength, it would seem. And while that's the case, obviously we are going to continue to see these trends persist, you would have thought. So yesterday, let's just have a look at the price action yesterday. So we did initially move to the downside, but then managed to close most of that. We did end the session slightly lower, but we are moving again to the upside, up by almost 0.25% as things stand. I did float the idea of maybe some sort of topping formation happening at the moment. We could potentially be forming a double top, but we would need a break below support at 110.02, and probably that would break down through this uptrend as well, and therefore we could look for some sort of topping formation and maybe lower prices, but it seems a long way off at the minute, still remaining stubbornly high, and no real signs of this slowing down. So yeah, more of the same there for the dollar, it would seem at the moment. In terms of the daily or intraday levels, just to take a quick look at some of those. Above, we've got resistance at 113.22, and then we've got 113.92. So if we can start breaking above those, then you would expect a retest of those highs that we've posted on the downside. The low that we put in place was at 112.16 yesterday. Then we have further support around 111.78 to 111.73. So for now, still looking for further upside. In terms of what's going on with Euro US dollar, still trapped within this bearish channel, no signs of that stopping. Again, yesterday we did see a decent-ish move to the upside, although that was still within the body of the candle that we posted on Wednesday. We managed to cling on to small gains yesterday, but giving those back today down by 0.1% as things stand. So the potential here for me is for a move back down towards these lows that we posted between late September and mid-October. On the intraday basis, I've got some support located here at 97.57, which we seem to be hugging over the last few hours. If that breaks down, then we'll be targeting these lows down here at 97.06, then potentially these lows down here from mid-October. On the upside, if we can start breaking through 98.75, then we'll bring into focus 99.26, and then we'll be looking back at parity in the short term. Looking at cable, so as you'd expect, a bit of a choppy day yesterday based on the fact that the Prime Minister resigned. Kind of felt like it was priced in from the morning, really. We did start to see a little bit of a lift up in sterling, but then those gains were set back. Still managed to hold on to positive territory, but now on the back foot again, down by 0.35%. So the ranges still remain quite large on cable at the moment, but ultimately the trend remains lower. And unless we can get above 114.95, which is that high there from the 5th of October, then I think we are likely to see more downside on this for the time being. In terms of the intraday levels on cable, we are holding this gap fill actually that we created on Sunday night. So we have pulled back and we are holding that level quite nicely as things stand at the minute. If we go by the close of the candle on Friday, we've touched that over the last couple of hours and it seems to be holding for now. Could be a decent opportunity to buy if you're just looking for an intraday setup to trade the potential ranges on this, buying at that support, targeting maybe a move up to the resistance at 114.32 would represent quite decent risk reward. Below that, we've got support at 111.33. If these start to break down, then we would be targeting moves back down to the lowest post on the 12th of October. So what was that request, Steve, on dollar yen?
Yeah, dollar yen, 13th daily candle up. So just wondering what's going to happen.
Well, your guess is as good as mine. I would say it's going to keep going up. At the minute, it's ridiculously strong, right?
But they did. I think they did. I think the Japanese guys did pull out like a comment that speculators will be
dealt with strictly, whatever that means.
Strictly, yeah. But then I mean they've
put
been
on a
saying that
dancing show, or
yeah, they've been saying that since like what 140. You know, I mean, well, they should just intervene, man.
It's just empty comments and empty threats. It would seem at the minute.
Threats. Nothing is happening, you know. So looks like it's still going to climb higher.
It does, doesn't it? And yeah, you'd be a brave man to back against it. I mean, obviously, it will be an amazing trade if they do intervene and you're trying to sell it at the top, but it's just very risky. I mean, surely the upside's got to be limited, but we feel like we've been saying that for ages. So
yeah.
Be careful, I think. Let's wait and see. I think we need confirmation before we start trying to do anything. Trying to sort of pick the top here, I think is a very risky move. If we start to see some evidence of a reversal candle, a bearish outside day, a bearish engulfing a shooting star, then maybe we can start thinking about a bit of a turnaround in the short term. But for now, I think just watch and wait would be my advice on that. Any other markets people are asking for on the FX side of things? I know there was a request for dollar yen, dollar CAD yesterday. Doesn't look like there's anything else. So I think I'll leave it there on the currencies, unless there's any other requests throughout the stream.
No, it all looks about right there, mate. I mean, the only thing I'd sort of like to say, yeah, I could probably share my screen and then and just looking at dollar yen, just looking at the weekly chart, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose if we look at what's happened when we've sort of had similar sort of moves before, you know, you get these like accelerated moves higher and then a huge collapse. That's going all the way back to 1985, obviously, which is a long way back. But we had similar sort of
a vintage year, I think.
Yeah, 1990, similar sort of thing. The turnaround. Although we did sort of like, if you look at it, the price action remained elevated for like a good over a month before we saw this breaking down. And if we look at the same here, we saw this accelerated move up, quite an acute angle, and yeah,
even then the reversal that we got, there was a big bearish outside day there prior to that, and it still didn't break down from there, did it? Where you were,
no.
Steve?
Yeah, sorry, yeah. I mean, look at that. That's a big old bearish day, and you sort of think this is it. Here we go. Set the shorts on the open the next day. Have my stop there, and lo and behold, you're taken out. Yeah, and then but there is again a stalling formation there. Maybe doesn't feel as confident as this one, but it is a reversal formation as evening doji star candle, evening doji star formation. That 3 candle there, so that's an indicator as well. So okay, you lost 1% there, but you gained a decent amount there. So you know, if here you're risking 138, your stop is at 146. Yeah, I mean it's quite a wide old stop, isn't it? But it's a weekly sort of like time frame, and then but you'd just been getting short again this week here, so you'd be getting short at 145. And the downside obviously just ripped to the downside. So they're sort of I suppose levels that we're sort of like thinking, right, I mean, I don't think we've ever seen anything quite as extraordinary,
not as parabolic as that.
No. So yeah, this is the the sort of like the action, and then we're looking for the reaction. So we're looking for, you know, some sign of stalling, which we got back in July. We had that temporary stall there, bearish engulfing candle, but it didn't last very long. Yeah, no, I think it's just dollar, 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 and there's nothing stopping it. Nothing, no reason to sort of like go against it at the moment. I know that Russia and China, there's talk of like them sort of like buying up all the gold, and they're going to come out with a new currency which will compete against the dollar because it'll be backed by gold. But then, you know, why would we not stick with dollar because it's backed by some really nice people? I don't know. Sounds a bit sarcastic.
Yeah, very, very sarcastic, Steve.
Anyway,
Very sarcastic.
before I get carried away, let's take a look. Carried off,
Yeah.
injured. Let me take a look at
Never to be
indices.
seen again.
Yeah, exactly. So looking at the FTSE, this is the weekly chart. We're looking at this potential for the double tops. Could call it a treble top if we manage to break and stay below the 68.10 level. We're holding nicely above it at the moment. This week's price action has been overall pretty positive, although last couple of days we nearly got a bearish engulfing on Wednesday. Yesterday's indecision, we did post a new fresh low, so it looked like for a little while that we were well on our way to revisiting this support level. Obviously, we've had a spike down to the 6,700 area, but the real sort of like support where prices haven't closed below is around about the 68 to 68.20 level. So yeah, holding at the moment, but yeah, so just drifting into the weekend at the moment, it feels like. On the DAX, we've got similar sort of price action over the last couple of days. Again, closed at a fresh low on the week yesterday. Taking out Wednesday's positive move higher, got up to close to 13,000 and reversed very nicely indeed. We've got a low in the market this morning at 12,600. Really looking for a break of that level to sort of open up the downside. On the Dow, topping formations, topping candles, we can say hanging man candle, shooting star candle, a nice little potential for a double top. You can see it here, the high here, the high here, and the low in between. It will show a bit more clearly on maybe a 4-hour chart. Here we go. This high. Oh. And this high here. And then in the middle, you'll have the neckline. So a break of 30,210, and the downside really opens up, and we could have a measured move target. Let's get the fibs up. Oh. And that would be a measured move target all the way down to 29,600. So definitely sort of something to watch out for. But as I say, going into Friday, really expecting a little bit more volatility today. We'll run through what we're expecting on the calendar to see if there's anything that's going to lead us that way. But NASDAQ also had a little bit of an upset yesterday. We had this was my gun to head trade idea and was like horribly stopped out. And then the market reversed quite aggressively. It got up to around about 11,280, that sort of area, and then this shooting star type candle was posted. That's how it ended up, and then further downside, and we managed to actually take out the daily low and project a little bit below there. So again, further downside, we're in this bearish channel formation. I think pressure is going to remain on indices at the moment. There's no, we will get rallies, we will get days of positivity, but they are selling opportunities in my view. Similar sorts of price action on the S&P. Again, took out the intraday swing low later on in the day, about 6 o'clock UK time, heading towards the close of the US session, and it stayed below there. So we talked about the 36666 level yesterday. A break of there opens up a projected move down towards 3,600. That's about it on the indices. Anything else nice that anyone wants me to look at? Or have they had enough of me talking?
Yeah, I think that may be the case of all of us, but yeah, good roundup there, Steve. Thank you. Okay, so let's take a look at the gun to the head challenge then. So this is where 3 of us pick trade ideas live on the video in the hope that we can turn a profit between now and 9 o'clock UK time when we close them out. As we always say, it's just a bit of fun. We come up with these ideas pretty quickly without too much thinking going into it, but all the ideas are placed at market. They must have stops and targets, and they all must have risk reward ratios in excess of 2 to 1. All the ideas are posted to our TradingView profile, so if anybody wants to check them out, you can do so, and you find us at signal_center. Yesterday's trade ideas. So as Steve mentioned, he was stopped out on his NASDAQ idea. Looked pretty nice technically. Nice candle when he was going about his business yesterday with that, but there was sadly no follow through, more choppy markets, and that meant that he was stopped out there. I was also stopped out on DAX, looking for a similar kind of move to the downside, which didn't occur. Taf, you had a trade on silver yesterday. Are you able to share your posted idea, because it's on a different
what,
profile,
it was like just a pip away from, let me just share. Yeah, there you go.
Got it.
Yeah, it went all the way up. It didn't quite reach my target, and then just
I thought you did hit the target.
Well, it didn't really hit it. It missed by
that's pretty spot on though, to be fair.
That's
mate.
a gimme, isn't it?
Sure.
Yeah, like 0.00 something.
Rules are rules, unfortunately. But yeah, we don't want to be, accused of misleading anyone. But that is a spot on trade. You've picked those levels perfectly.
Yeah, it was
almost perfectly.
It was almost on point, man.
Yeah, if you'd have traded through a different broker, you might have got filled with that.
I might have got a field. Yeah, I might have got a field. So yeah.
Well done to you. Have you got another one for us, Taf? As you're on a bit of a hot streak at the minute.
Yeah, I'm thinking about gold right now. It's looking, so that support that I talked about. It was, let me just go on a higher time frame. So this support, the way it was respected, and then the bulls just came, just taking price all the way up. We seem to be getting that reaction here. So I'm gonna take that and target like second resistance. Hopefully it breaks this trend line and goes all the way up there. So this is for the gun to the head. My overall view, however, is bearish on gold, but for the gun to the head, I'm allowed to take these trades. Okay, let's go. Let's put it today, Friday at 8:30. Right. Yep. Oops. Yep. Okay. I just put it there. All right. So yeah. So I'm gonna be buying gold at market. My entries are 1626.27. I'm targeting 1661. 0.03, and then my stop is at 1614.01, just below that zone that I highlighted, and I'm targeting a risk to reward ratio of 2.84. So hopefully
Very
that
nice
works
indeed.
out.
Looks good. Okay, good luck, Taf. Steve, you got one ready?
I haven't got one ready. If you have?
Yeah, I'll go. I'm looking at cable. Believe it or not. Put in the comment there, hoping for a quieter day in the UK government, but certainly it doesn't feel likely. But yeah, looking at this on an intraday time frame only. So I just highlighted this on the analysis that we went through. We had this gap that was created on the charts on Friday over to the Sunday open. We filled that over the last few sessions, and it seems to be holding support for the time being. So while that continues to be the case, for me, there could be a bit of a range that plays out here. So I'm going to try and buy cable at 112.16. I'm going with a very tight stop at 111.67, which is below these lows that we've posted and below the gap, and targeting a move up to the swing highs that we posted here on the 17th of October at 114.30, giving me a risk reward ratio of 4.3, which if that plays out, I would be absolutely delighted, and might even have to get behind Boris Johnson myself if that's the case.
That sounds interesting. I'm sure he'd like that.
He probably would, actually, the weirdo. Yeah, let's see how that goes. That could be enough time, Steve.
Yeah, sort of. We've just had a request for Tesla.
All right, we'll come back to that then.
Yeah, okay. I'll just do my gun to head. I'm going to go with oil. Right, so this oil overall is down, trending towards the lows, and we're looking at the head and shoulder formation. This is like quite a classic formation, and I'm going to go with a break of the neckline. I know it hasn't broken, but I'm preempting it. Don't do that. Do not do that. So getting short at 84.18. I'll have a 100 tick stop on it and a 250 target. So 2.5 to 1 risk reward. Looking for a break of the neckline and downside in crude oil. That's it. Just simple as that. Someone asking, how can you buy gold when it's not making higher highs and higher lows? Where, as Taff explained, he's looking at it from a intraday short-term
It's an
basis.
intraday, yeah, it's an intraday trade. So
yeah, overall, he is still bearish towards gold overall, because it's making lower highs and lower lows.
Yeah, as you said, it is just a bit of fun. This is a gun to the head challenge, so we're coming up with trade ideas, under a bit of pressure, and just speculating, quite frankly, on where we feel there could be moves between now and 9 o'clock UK time when these trade ideas are going to expire. Okay, well done, gents. Let's hope for a successful day on that. All the ideas will be posted up to the TradingView profile immediately, and you can check them out there if you wish. Okay, Tesla, Steve, what do we want to do on this? Do you want to take a look, or should we get, because you did it yesterday, should we get a different perspective today? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it probably could do with a different perspective. I mean, at the moment, look at after the earnings, we saw the fall, we saw the drop, and it's dropped to support just in front of $200, 204.27. Actually got down to yesterday, got down to 202. So we could say the support is around about 200 psychological, 202 literal, and closed with an indecisive candle, a doji candle. So that's a sign of indecision. Potentially would look really for maybe to fill this gap up at the high 215 to all the way up to 217. So I would say that was quite a positive finish yesterday. A break of the 200 level, as we said yesterday, is negative and further downside, but this isn't a bad level to be accumulating or sort of getting long of Tesla, in my opinion. Anyone else got any thoughts on it?
Yeah, well, I think Tesla's a bit of a weird one because it's got such a massive kind of cult following, basically. So it is going to be well supported by the retail market. This is the weekly chart, and just looking at this, yeah, we can see that support held around 202. We did slightly close, well, pretty much on it. And as Steve mentioned, there was a gap created on the daily chart. I think if this level starts to break down, then quickly this comes into focus, which is at 179.83, which is these lows going back to March 2021. And I think if that breaks, then we have a really impressive top pattern confirmed, and that would indicate that we are going to see maybe a fairly substantial dip in the value of Tesla shares over the medium term. So I think it's approaching kind of a make or break level, really. If there are balls out there, or people that follow Tesla regularly, it's coming to that point where if it does break down, you need to be seriously considering what you're going to do with your position, how you're going to manage it going forward. But for now, I guess, based on that candle that we saw yesterday on the daily time frame, then maybe there is enough support there to drag it higher in the very short term. Brilliant. Hopefully that helped for anybody that's watching. Okay, so data-wise today, not a huge amount on the calendar. We've got Canadian retail sales due out at 1:30 UK time. We had retail sales due out, out in the UK early this morning prior to the market open. Later today, we've got earnings from Verizon and American Express. They're the biggest names on the calendar today. And then we start looking forward to next week, and there's quite a bit of central bank action going on. We've got the Bank of Canada, we've got the ECB, and we've got the Bank of Japan. So could be in for some substantial volatility in currencies linked to those particular markets next week. Obviously, all of these central banks are under pressure to tighten monetary policy given the rising inflation numbers seen across the globe, particularly focused on I think the Bank of Japan, given that they have made noises about intervening in the market, and be interesting to see what these strict strict measures are going to be for people that are speculating on it. So yeah, do be careful there, I think. Anything to wrap up with, gents?
Oh, all good here.
Okay. Hopefully everybody's had a great week. We will be back next week with some more roundups on the market. And until then, have a great weekend and trade safely.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.